Imagine you were transported into the 1930s, a time of dust and depression, but also times of films that people lost themselves in.
You were standing in the fields harvesting wheat like you always do in the afternoon. Last year had been a time and prospered during the war. All of the crops flourished and they were all bought. During World War I, your farming business was booming. People needed your food. Now the Great War is over. The demand for wheat decreases, but you refuse to give in. You keep on producing more, but people don't need your food. You took in loads during the war, but now you don't have enough money to pay them back, for no one is buying it anymore. You're coming close to losing your farm. You watch your last neighbors drive off with their car coming with everything they own. Their name is now known as Okies, because they are from Oklahoma, traveling to California in hope for a better life. A couple of weeks ago, you met a family coming from the city near you, heading to California, just like your neighbor. They told you stories about traveling, and that they're just surviving, traveling through huge clouds of dust, holding their breath and coughing, and having no idea if they're going to live tomorrow. Most of all, they were sure they wanted to go to California, and they had made it their goal to get there, and knew nothing else than everything good it had to offer. That story made you ponder if it was worth it to stay, or if you should move like that family. Both ways, you're living off hope.
It came like a black wall, a tide of destruction that crashed over the broken plains, choking the life out of everything in its path.
You started to harvest anyway as you felt a wind blow through the dry field. Winds came, bringing a red dust like prairie fire, hot and peppery, searing the inside of your nose and the whites of your eyes. Roaring dust, turning the day from sunlight to midnight. You look up and see a giant cloud of dust nearly 10,000 feet tall. Every time you breathe it in, it chokes you, but you must continue to work to provide for your family. April 25th, 1934, Wednesday. Last weekend was the worst dust storm you ever had. You've been having quite a bit of blowing dirt every year since the drought started, not only here but all over the Great Plains. Many days the spring air is just full of dirt coming, literally for hundreds of miles. It sifts into everything. After you wash the dishes and put them away, so much dust sifts into the cupboards, you must wash them again before the next meal. Clothes and closets are covered with dust. Through all the hard times, whether continuing to work in the fields with only a cloth tied around your nose to protect you from the dust, or having there be dust in every room and sifted into every floorboard, there is always hope. This hope is known as escapism.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he is the Wizard of Wiz, if ever a Wiz there was. If ever or ever a Wiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Every night, you would check if President Roosevelt had made another broadcast. These broadcasts were called fireside chats. You would listen to every bit of advice President Roosevelt had to say, and it would feel like he was talking directly to you. He addressed all the problems you had questions to, and made you feel like he was a friend. You trusted him with what he thought was right, and you were happy when you heard what he had to say, because you knew it would all be over soon, and he would help you get out of the sad, sad time. Along with listening to President's fireside chats, people started creating movies to lose themselves and forgot about the problems. Some of these movies include Wizard of Oz and Shirley Temple. The music and cheery factor to these films helped people relax and pretend the issues in the economy did not exist.
The year started quite depressing, never knowing what was to happen next, but you managed to find an outlet to escape all the troubles. You and other people like you began to find happiness in small things around you, causing life to be better despite all the remaining flaws.